Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today's question is, can I offer an update in the case of Alex Murdaugh? Just a reminder, I'm not diagnosing anybody in this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and consider supporting me on Patreon. I will put the link to Patreon in the description for this video. First, I'll look at the background of this case, move to the timeline of the crime, then offer my analysis. Richard Alexander Murdaugh was born on June 17, 1968, and was raised in South Carolina. He goes by the name Alex Murdaugh. I will refer to him as Alex. The Murdaugh family was well known in South Carolina's Low Country region and mostly had a good reputation, at least until Alex came around. From 1920 to 2006, 3 members of the Murdaugh family served as the solicitor for the 14th Circuit District: Randolph Murdaugh Sr., Randolph Murdaugh Jr., and Randolph Murdaugh III, who was the father of Alex Murdaugh. The 14th Circuit District comprises 5 counties in an area of South Carolina referred to as the Low Country. A solicitor in South Carolina is essentially the same thing as a district attorney in other jurisdictions. They prosecute criminal cases. The Murdaugh family enjoyed tremendous popularity. For example, Randolph Murdaugh III ran unopposed in every election during his time as solicitor from 1986 to 2006. Alex graduated from the University of South Carolina in 1990. 4 years later, he graduated from the law school at the same university. Alex married a woman named Maggie Brandstetter in 1993. The couple had a son named Buster in 1996 and another son named Paul in 1999. Over the next several years, the Murdaugh family was involved in a number of controversial incidents. Here are a few of them. In 2015, a teenager named Stephen Smith was found dead on a road in Hampton County. The police thought that he was struck by a motor vehicle in a hit and run, but they weren't really sure what happened. The police interviewed a few witnesses who claimed that Buster Murdaugh had been in a romantic relationship with Stephen Smith. No charges have been filed in Stephen's case. On February 2, 2018, a woman named Gloria Satterfield allegedly fell down the front steps at the Murdaugh family estate. She died 24 days later of complications. She was the family's housekeeper. The death certificate indicated that she died from natural causes. Staircase-related death is usually not considered natural. You never hear anybody inquiring about a friend's loved one who died from natural causes, saying, "How did they go? Curved, straight, or spiral?" Alex Murdaugh, as well as 2 of his associates, have been accused with trying to cheat Gloria's family out of settlement money. Gloria's death is now the focus of a criminal investigation. On February 24, 2019, Alex Murdaugh's 19-year-old son, Paul, was operating a boat near Paris Island. There were 6 people aboard in total. Paul plowed the boat into a bridge piling, which caused the death of one of his passengers, a 19-year-old woman named Mallory Beach. Paul was intoxicated and was eventually indicted on 3 charges, including felony boating under the influence, causing death. Now moving to the timeline of the crime. An unexpected consequence of Paul's arrest was that his father's financial dealings were subjected to scrutiny. This wasn't good news for Alex, because he had allegedly been involved in a tremendous amount of illegal activity, including embezzlement. A hearing was scheduled for June 10, 2021, to compel Alex to turn over financial information to the court. On June 7, 3 days before this hearing was to take place, Alex called 911 at 10:06 p.m. He told the police that he had discovered the bodies of his 52-year-old wife Maggie and his 22-year-old son Paul. They had both been shot to death. The victims were at the family's 1,772-acre hunting estate in Islandton, South Carolina. Here's what the police found during their investigation. At the time of the murders, Maggie was not living with Alex. She was at the family's beach home. The couple was separated due to some difficulties they were having. Paul was still facing charges in connection with the boating incident. On the night of the murders, Alex called Maggie and asked her to meet him at the hunting estate. She messaged a friend saying that the request sounded fishy and Alex was up to something, yet Maggie still went to the estate to meet Alex. Maggie arrived at 8:17 p.m. She ate dinner with Alex and their son Paul. At 8:49 p.m., Paul's phone was locked. It was not used to make any calls or send any messages after this. Maggie's phone locked at the same time. The police believe that it was at this time, 8:49 p.m., when both Maggie and Paul were shot several times using different firearms. Paul had been shot with a shotgun. Maggie had been shot with a rifle. Alex told the police that he was at his mother's residence in Alameda, South Carolina at that time. This is about 12 miles away. The police thought that Alex was responsible for the murders and worked to build a case against him. Alex resigned from his law firm on September 3, 2021. The next day, September 4, he claimed that he was the victim of a shooting while he was changing a tire on the side of a rural road. On September 6, he entered a substance use treatment facility in Orlando, Florida. On September 14, the police accused Alex of conspiring with a distant cousin to stage the shooting that occurred on September 4. It appears as though Alex wanted his son Buster to get a life insurance payout. Alex didn't think that this would happen if he brought an end to his own life. Therefore, he hired a distant cousin to shoot him and make it look like murder. As the investigation continued, it came to light that Alex may have cheated clients out of millions of dollars. Over the next few years, Alex was charged with several offenses. He racked up over 100 charges in total. As far as his financial crimes, he was accused of stealing about $8.7 million from more than a dozen victims. In July 2022, Alex was indicted for 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime in connection with the homicides of Maggie and Paul. Alex went to trial in early 2023. He testified on his own behalf. He admitted that he lied to the police about being at the scene of the murders, but he maintained that he was not the killer. He was with Maggie and Paul at the hunting estate for a short time. Then he left to visit his mother in Alameda. Alex returned to the estate just after 10 p.m. and found the bodies of his wife and son near the dog kennels. On March 2, 2023, Alex Murdaugh was found guilty on all charges. The next day, he was sentenced to 2 consecutive life sentences. Alex may be concerned that his time in court is over, but he shouldn't be worried. He is still facing 99 charges stemming from alleged financial wrongdoing. Now moving to my analysis. Alex Murdaugh maintains his innocence as far as the murders. However, it appears as though he admitted guilt to some of the other non-homicidal offenses. Some people believe that Alex was convicted because of his alleged financial crimes and drug use, not based on the actual evidence that he committed murder. Let's take a look at the evidence both for and against the idea that Alex is guilty of murder, starting with the inculpatory factors. At the time of the murders, Alex was in financial turmoil. He had allegedly been stealing millions of dollars, but was still running out of money. The court proceedings related to his son's criminal charges were threatening to expose Alex. Alex was heavily using opioids and was fearful about having withdrawal symptoms. He claimed that some of his deceptive behavior was caused by opioid-induced paranoia, but opioids rarely cause paranoia. Alex had a history of deceiving people. It appears as though he did nothing but lie during his career. He deceived just about everybody he knew. The timeline of the murders makes it appear as though Alex was at the hunting estate when the murders occurred. Let's take a detailed look at this timeline. Alex arrived at the hunting estate at 6:42 p.m. Paul arrived at 7:04 p.m. Cell phone data shows that Alex and Paul appeared to move around the property together, like they were walking around looking at things. At 7:39 p.m., Paul started recording a Snapchat video. He sent the video to friends a few minutes later. In the video, Alex is wearing a blue shirt, khaki pants, and brown loafers. When the police encountered him after he reported finding the bodies of Maggie and Paul, he was wearing a white t-shirt, shorts, and sneakers. Alex's housekeeper said that she never saw the blue shirt or brown loafers again. She found the khaki pants on the bathroom floor the day after the murders. The housekeeper also said that Alex approached her 10 months later and asked her to tell the police he was wearing different clothes that night. He was in an agitated state. Moving back to the timeline, Alex and Paul ate dinner from 8:14 p.m. to 8:35 p.m. Alex admitted this was the case. Maggie arrived on the property at 8:17 p.m. and joined them for dinner. After dinner, Paul's phone moved to the kennels. He was on the phone with a friend of his about the condition of a dog who was in the kennels. Paul recorded a video of the dog starting at 8:44 p.m. The video lasted for 50 seconds. Alex's voice was captured in the background of that video. Alex admitted that he was there at the time only after the video was discovered. He initially lied and said he was not there. At 8:49 p.m., the phones of both Paul and Maggie locked for the last time. Between 9:02 and 9:06 p.m., Alex made several phone calls and walked 283 steps. Some of the calls were to Maggie. Considering that he admitted he was at the hunting estate, why was he calling her? Alex said he could not remember those 4 minutes. It appears as though he was suffering from culpability evasion memory loss syndrome. Alex's Suburban started at 9:06 p.m. At the same time, the backlight on Maggie's phone activated, perhaps due to an orientation change, like somebody manipulated the phone to look at it. Alex drove to Alameda. He made a few brief calls along the way, as if he was trying to establish an alibi. He arrived at 9:22 p.m., walked around for a bit, and departed at 9:43 p.m. On his way back to the hunting estate, he made a few more short calls. He arrived at 10:06 p.m. He called 911 just 19 seconds after reaching the dog kennels. Alex said that he checked on his wife and son before calling 911, but there's no way he could have done that in 19 seconds. Alex said that Paul's phone popped out when he checked on his body. This makes it seem like Alex was concerned about something on Paul's phone, like he checked on it and he made this excuse saying it popped out. The murder weapons were never found, but the police determined that the rifle that was used to kill Maggie was consistent with the weapon owned by the family. They said the same thing about the shotgun used to kill Paul. At 10:40 p.m., which is after the police arrived, Alex used his phone to search for a restaurant. Alex may have been so hungry because he just had a killer workout. When considering all this evidence from the timeline, there's little doubt that Alex was at the dog kennels when the murders occurred. Moving to the last inculpatory factors, some people had a motive to kill Paul. After all, he allegedly killed a young woman, but who had a motive to kill Maggie? If someone else killed Maggie and Paul, how did they know exactly when to strike? They just happened to realize that Alex was not at the property. They wandered onto the property and then found guns owned by the family and used them. This just seems very unlikely. Now moving to the exculpatory factors. The investigation was badly mismanaged by the police. Key evidence was not collected. The police only appeared to consider Alex as a potential suspect. They may have developed tunnel vision. Paul had allegedly committed a serious crime, and people may have wanted revenge. The rifle and the shotgun used in the murders were never recovered. A single perpetrator of 2 homicides would rarely use 2 different firearms. No physical evidence ties Alex Murdaugh to the scene, and there were no witnesses to the murders. Anybody could have committed the homicides. When considering all the evidence, do I think that Alex Murdaugh is guilty of murder? Yes, I think he is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. The state did not have a perfect case, but it was pretty good. Alex Murdaugh's prior bad acts, drug use, and deceptive behavior combined with the timeline to make a pretty convincing argument for guilt. Now moving to my final thoughts. Some people who misuse substances will go to great lengths to continue their destructive behavior. Alex Murdaugh had many opportunities to hold himself accountable and discontinue his alleged financial crimes and substance use, but he chose not to. He was determined to escape every bit of responsibility. He was willing to destroy anyone who stood in his way. Here's how this case could be summarized. A materialistic member of the multi-generational and name-mispronouncing Murdaugh magisterial monarchy used mind-altering substances and mismanaged money. He miscalculated the mightiness of his manipulation when he made a murderous and monstrous maneuver to mask his misconduct. Those are my thoughts on the update of the Alex Murdaugh case. Please put any opinions and thoughts in the comments section. They always generate an interesting dialogue. As always, I hope you found my analysis of this topic to be informative. Thanks for watching.